When people try to tell you that you need to accept something that you could reasonably and feasibly change in your life, what they're actually telling you is that they don't want to support you in changing. They don't want to put the energy, the time and the work into helping you to change your life. That's what they're actually telling you when they say, oh, you'll just have to accept it. Oh, you want to lose weight? Ah, no, don't bother, it's all genetic. You just have to accept it. You want to change your job, you want to change your career? Well, you just have to, set your expectations a little bit lower. Manage your expectations, Anything that you want to achieve in your life, where you've got a relationship problem, and it needs some attention, you need to work on this, you need to fix this, or leave someone. Something like that could be happening. And people want to come to you and go, oh, well, nobody's perfect. Sometimes we just need to accept these things. No. If there is the possibility for things to change and get better and improve for you, you need to be very, very wary about the energy that you allow to influence you. Because there's a lot of people who are very sneaky, very clever, and there is a huge, huge amount of resistance in your life when you start making some changes. Now, I recovered from obesity, I lost a lot of weight. I recovered from alcoholism, I completely changed my career. I adopted a new spiritual outlook and got really engaged with meditative practice to fix my mental health issues. And with all of those areas, all of those facets, I encountered a massive amount of resistance in every single area. Really sad to even say it, but most of the resistance I faced was from people who I thought loved me. One of the most subtle ways that people undermine your energy, that people undermine your motivation, that have you second guessing yourself, one of the most common ways that this happens is through this idea of, oh, you just need to find acceptance. Particularly in the spiritual circles, I'll just say it. Because acceptance is very powerful. Very, very, very powerful. And it can be the key to improving certain aspects of your life. And it can be crucial to finding inner peace, because it may be something that you've struggled with your entire life that you actually can't change. And so, acceptance can come in, and that's beautiful. Something about your appearance that you can't change. Now, if you really can't change it, and it has been bothering you, we can find acceptance. Maybe there are facets of your life that it's actually physically impossible to change. According to the laws of nature, it simply can't change. So you might get into an accident. Let's say, for example, you get into an accident and you lose a leg. One of your legs has to be cut off in the hospital. Crisis. That's disaster, catastrophe. Now, no matter how hard you try, no matter how much work and effort you put in, you can't grow that leg back. You can't. We know this. This is quite an extreme example, but it's a good highlight for how this works and when acceptance should be used. Because if you can't change that or fix it, the only thing that you have left to do is accept it and accept this new way of life. That's true. But what really, really aggravates me, really, really gets under my skin, is when people go to, oh, you just need to accept it, when it's something that you could change. Just find a level of acceptance with it. I've had it in every single area that I have changed and transformed. Every single time. Ah, man, it's subtle. It's so subtle how people try to undermine you, They try to rob you of your energy. They try to drain that energy from you. Why do they do it? To be honest, I kind of got to this point of I don't really care why they do it anymore, because that's kind of feeding into it. That's one of the ways that they keep draining you, is trying to figure out why people are the way they are. But that's falling into the same trap, and you're doing their work for them still. I don't care why they do it. It's partly because they've accepted things that they could change, because they're lazy. They just because they think it's going to be easier. If I just accept it, then I don't have to bother. If I just accept my weight, I don't have to diet. Well, that was easy then, wasn't it? Easy. Laziness, that's what that is. Laziness. Oh, this addiction that I have, it's genetic. It's a disease. There's nothing I can do about it. Really? Nothing you can do about it? Have you tried stopping drinking? That's something you could do about it, right? Oh yeah, of course. They're not going to stop. They just find other ways to fall into this fallback position of total cognitive laziness. Oh, it's a disease. That's convenient, isn't it? Because that means you can just carry on. Great. So when other people try to convince you, you just have to accept it. You just have to accept. You get this in workplaces as well, the managers say, you've got terrible working conditions. This is awful. This isn't right. These shifts aren't right. The equipment's not right. The people aren't right. The procedures aren't right. This is all awful. You go to the manager, and the manager's like, well, there's not much you can do about it. It's just the way things are. We're just going to have to accept it. We're just going to have to work with what we've got and accept it. You walk away like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll accept it. Because that's virtuous, right? We want to be that sort of good, virtuous person. We want to be in the spiritual circles as well. You want to be a good spiritual seeker, good spiritual person. And yes, by accepting it, I rise above. Not always. You accept it, that's laziness. Oh, I'm just going to accept what my manager said there. Yeah, my dangerous, awful working conditions. Oh, I'm just going to accept it. You walk away like, yes, I've really accepted this, and I'm such a stoic martyr here. Laziness. No, you go back to the manager because it's the manager's responsibility. And that is why that manager said, oh, there's not much we can do, you just have to accept it, because they don't want to put the work into changing the workplace, because it takes effort. It takes effort. In any area of life where some effort and work is required, people are going to simply try and duck out of it. And, acceptance is one of them. Don't go to acceptance too quick. If you can change it, even if it's hard, even if it's very demoralizing on this journey, even if it's real hard work, and it is. I'm not saying it's easy. Losing weight was nails. Nails. Stopping alcohol was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Dealing with family issues was even harder than stopping the alcohol. Nightmare. But it all comes down to not accepting something that could change. There's lots of things in my life I have had to accept. I have had to, and there's a bitter pill to swallow in a lot of the times when I have had to accept certain things that I'm probably not going to be able to change. Or even had to accept that I'm not going to be able to change it right now. That's going to have to be on the later base. I'll have to fix that at a later date. But right now, I'm just going to have to take a big bite out of the poo burger on that one. There are things like that you just have to accept. That's fine. But if you can change it, you should change it. And don't fall into acceptance too quickly. Don't fall into it too quickly. Acceptance as an excuse for cognitive laziness. Many times people simply don't want to put the work into supporting you to change because they know it's going to take work. You want to dry out from alcohol. They know that's going to be hard work for you, and it's going to be hard work for them to support you. So if they can get out of it by just saying, well, you just have to accept it. You just know, you just have to learn this subtle language that people talk. Don't pay so much attention to the words. Pay more attention to the energy underneath the words. Why would somebody say that? The amount of times as well. I mean, I've got my first year sober, I remember it. First year sober, I can't believe it, amazing. And people close to me who I thought loved me would say, oh, well, now you've got a year. Do you think you're maybe getting to a place where maybe you could have 1 or 2 drinks now? And because I just, trust these people, relax around these people, I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I could. And then I go, hang on a minute, no, what? What? Why would you say that? What? Often, it's the people closest to you. Got to watch out for it. The subtlety. When it's overt and it comes directly after you, people came up with like loads of crates of cider and was like cracking them like, hey, have one, have one, have one. That's more like that's so extreme and overt. You'd be like, that's ridiculous. Get out of my life. When it's subtle, they sneak on in through the shadows. Maybe just accept it. Oh, you go, oh yeah, maybe I could. Maybe I could just fall into this. Oh, it's genetic. Everything's genetic. Or even, oh, it's just how I was conditioned. Oh, I've been conditioned. Ah, I've been conditioned. No, I've been conditioned. If you've been conditioned in a certain way, then you can decondition yourself. Just turn around, go back the other way. Recondition yourself. Don't go to acceptance too quick. If you can change it, you should change it. If you can't change it, then we go to acceptance and practice the discernment and wisdom to tell the difference between the two. That is everything I have for you this morning. Thank you. Take care. Be well. And stay present.